Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Troublemaker. Grab your cheese and crackers because we have an exciting game for you today. This is a match with debut from developers from the Eugen Dream Team, playing as NATO, and of course their opponents playing as Pact are Ciemni. So representing the Eugen Dream Team, we have Wister, Eugen Flix, FLX, Eugen David Motep, and Grand Strateger, who of course is actually the president of the company. So the big boss is in this matchup, and their opponents are Camel, Toss-Z, Net-Z, and Glober. So compared to most people we watch in this channel, these people have very good names that are easy to pronounce, and they're not ridiculous things that go off beyond the expression. So because this is Eugen Systems, because we have the developers here, a patch was actually issued. Every single NATO unit that they're going to use today has been buffed. And coincidentally, in this very second, a patch went out to nerf every single unit that the pack players are using. Isn't that funny how that works out? It's a little bit of foul play to open up this match. As well, any player who defies this order and actually is able to succeed will be kicked off the server. So this is going to be a very, very one-sided match already. The power of the developer is strong in this one, as they will have to take on their opponents in a very fair match. But seriously, actually, most of the Eugen team have very bad ELOs. I suspect they have a second account that they play with, but all of them are in the sub 1400 ELO rating area, so that's not too good for them. But you know, we do have the matches on the very way, and Eugen is actually going to go ahead and use some airborne units to try and grab locations quickly, and they have infantry going on all locations, and on the other side of the map we're seeing very similar splits. Their opponents are going a little more congested here compared to the Eugen team, definitely going for less locations overall. Of course, this is Conquest, so that means that the person with the most commands will... Whoa! Glober has left the game. That means it's going to be a 4v3. The match will continue on as the rules state it has to, and the control of Glober's units will fall to a random person. Now, this can be a huge disadvantage, because if you're not aware that you suddenly gain control of an army across the map, you're in trouble. A Nighthawk, in fact, has deployed its payload and will hit one of those helicopters. We're going to see a little helicopter skirmish here as Eugen's going to try and land some units here, but whoa, we have some AA helicopters here from FLX supporting him with this infantry, and he's going to be able to grab this very forward location very quickly, but at what cost? A lot of these AA helicopters will in fact go down. The forward push here by Dabamotep was successful, and in fact, Eugen has got an early +1 advantage here, getting a clear cut of the map, and that will only go higher as they seem to have secured this location here, and are moving into this other 2-point base. And keep in mind, these are the 2-point bases. These are the ones, well, okay, this one here. These are the ones you fight for, and if you gain those, you'll get a huge, huge benefit. Now, there is a small little problem here, and that is that there is an overrunning here of the reinforcement point of the Eugen team, and they have nothing to defend this with except for some U.S. Marines and Launch Stingers. The Launch Stingers are winding up, however, and they're going to try and take out this single helicopter, and there's only 30 Marines left over, as they're just going to get wiped out completely by these high numbers of tank units. There is some Humvees probably carrying some more U.S. Marines going to try and rush across here, but it looks like they're getting picked off one by one. Of course, in good standard play, you want to have the empty ones first to waste the ammunitions and have a higher survival rate for units, and all of them will in fact go down. FLX not playing exactly the best game that he has ever played right now. I have in the past had a chance to play with and against FLX. Normally a very, very good player, and we're seeing a lot of hyper aggression here as a teammate is out. They're trying their hardest to clear this location, which is just loaded full of AT. Lots of these AMX 30B2s, which are kind of notorious as a French glass cannon. Very fast unit with very high payload, but very, very weak in defensive positions. Thunderbolt will knock out a single T-62. Keep in mind, the Thunderbolt is not really used for that. So trying to get a little bit greedy there, using an irrational unit for that. U.S. Marines might get picked off by Motoshukis here, but most Motoshukis will get stunned, so the trade will be in favor of U.S. Marines hypothetically. Jaguar actually going to get a bomb off here, and As well, a Harrier will also be dropping a bomb. Evac order prematurely. Oh, just doesn't get the attack off. Too many AAs. These Afghanskis are just blocking very effectively. And Nighthawk will, in fact, get the appropriate payload landed finally. And, ooh, lots of Afghanskis gone. I felt like a nuclear weapon just went off. Look at that crazy mushroom cloud. On our southern flank, we see not too much is happening. Small move-ups here, but there is a small position close to the reinforcement point of the Eugen Dream Team, who still have that +1 advantage at the moment. And are they moving a command into this 2-point base? Doesn't look like it. Very, very slow on that. In fact, they've actually chosen to grab this 1-point middle base instead of the 2-point bases. Interesting choice. U.S. Marines doing lots of damage. Might be able to kill off these Motos Tsurulikis here as well. The tanks have withdrawn their support. They decided no longer to support these U.S. Marines. And things are actually looking kind of bad for the Eugen Dream Team. They do have that +1 advantage, but their actual unit counts on various flanks are looking pretty bad. Specifically because they're being forced to go a very, very long route. Going through Echo all the way to Bravo. That's really bad. There is this Alpha reinforcement point, which seems FLX is using, but Grand Strateger is not. So that is not good at all. Speaking of which, this flank is slowly getting pushed out of Razvedka. Sorry, do that again. Razvedka is being deployed here to spot striking Eagle. Barely gonna get away. Gets away just in time. The rocket does not hit it. And VDV squads will take a US Marine squad out. Tanks will support the Razvedka. And the Legion's actually withdrawing from the forest, kind of a mistake here, and will get wiped out. There's a Challenger coming along the side here. Great opportunity for a flanking maneuver by these tanks, if they intend to go for that. And there is a curve here, so there's a little bit of funnel that the Challenger can run into if he in fact decides to do that. And he's actually going to maybe go up to the funnel. No, he will in fact stay here. All the while we have Legion maintaining all of these little funnel areas as they're firing on Urals here. Just empty carriers. Did take a few shots themselves, but nothing too big. Keep in mind, this is not total destruction. This is not destruction. This is conquest. So losing these 0-point vehicles actually has zero effect on the game at all, except for the fact that you no longer have vehicles to reload your infantry and move them. But who does that in conquest, honestly? 37 Marines. Going to try and make a little bit of a foothold here against these Motostokis. There's really no tanks or anything here to help clear out these U.S. Marines. And these are a lot of the kind of desperation moves. I mean, we're looking at the Eugen Dream Team has actually grabbed a 2-point base, which is awesome, of course. Puts them at +3. And they're trying to defend large pushes while affording commands to grab these. And that's a big part of the challenge for them right now. Balancing off between these are my invasion forces or my defending forces, and these are the command armors that I'm going to buy to grab locations. I mean, this isn't your small commander. This is a 200-point command. That's an expensive bad boy right there. This one's 100 and it's just 100. So that one's not too bad, but that's some expensive command tanks being used here, and it doesn't get much cheaper. Total Eugen domination, however, the hacking skills of these guys, the developers, has paid off pretty well. And as you can see, their actual hacks, point for point, hasn't worked out too well, as it seems like Eugen is actually losing in cost efficiency. And I'd like to see at the end of this just who lost more units. I'm pretty sure Eugen has. They will be deploying another 100-point base. I'm trying to grab this Delta location here, which will put them at an unprecedented +5, which hasn't been seen. And U.S. Marines will continue pushing up. There's actually a BTR RD robot. Yes, the robot, which could get picked off. It's very, very heavily armored, though. Is able to get away with the infantry in tow. Doesn't lose a single unit there. And all the while, we're looking more infantry. In fact, 14 motor strike. Going back to this forested location to try and grab a foothold. We have a Harpun, an AMX 13 Harpun. Is going to go ahead and push forward, and T-72s don't get the Q. They're not going to fire, but there is a robot in the distance. Will be firing a few Vega rockets at the Harpun. Speaking of which, we do in fact have a small other little push-up of Urals here. Once again, just trying to throw away these 1-point vehicles, which have no purpose in the game. They can, however, spot visions, which is pretty good. meaning that this is where you can bomb, this is where you can artillery, you know exactly where they are. And on top of that, it wastes ammunition. I mean, if you look at their ammunition count, they're now being drained from this hammock. So that's not good at all. It's only a small little move. It's not something to freak out about. Not worth posting on the forums. Eugen Dream Team hacks. They throw their 1-point vehicles forward to waste ammunition. Not worth it. But it does give a small utterance of advantage. And oh, Afghanistan's going to do some crazy autocannon fire on those U.S. Marines. Actually gets a stun, and the U.S. Marines might actually go down, but it looks like a robot went down. Did it? It's hard to see. Yes, the robot's still alive, actually. Motostrokis will move forward and try and take this location, but the Eugen Dream Team with Epilex does in fact decide to pull back and get a less forward location. And by doing this way, when the infantry come forward, they can ambush it without having to worry with all these units, which of course won't have vision. Interesting note about our pack teams, they're not using a single T-80U. I mean, they do have Soviet units here, but not a single T-80U is on the map, which is very, very rare for most Soviet play that we've seen, at least so far in this game. Robot does get stunned, and ambush is successful. U.S. Marines do win that war, and Motostrelkis are going to get ambushed by a supreme number of U.S. Marines. These little engagements will help Eugen as they're trying to reposition these U.S. Marines to attack. Ooh, running to this little tiny fire. Not going to be the best of it. And Motostrelkis could go down. There are some large groups of Motostrelkis that will be joining the battle very, very soon. These U.S. Marines have to clean up this Motostrelki squad very soon. Let me see the ambush of the circle squad. This is actually a semi-circle squad, apparently. And yes, looks like these Motostrelkis will impact all. Nope, I lied. I'm a liar. They might all get cleaned up. The autocannon, so good, wipes out an entire squad. Now there's 22 U.S. Marines versus 15 Motostrelkis, and oh, without that autocannon, these U.S. Marines are just completely clubbing these Motostrelkis like their name was Baby Seal. Speaking of which, we do have a massive push up here. BTR Shallows, T-72, all moving up. This could be one of these game-ending type pushes. This is a lot of tank. There is a TOW here. It's going to do some some anti-tank fire here. It's a TOW 2 as well. It's got the TOW 2 rocket. And oh god, he's landing it. That is not good. This is a bad choice. This means once you land a helicopter, it means the enemy can actually fire on it. There's no AA in the area. There's no reason for him to land this helicopter. And the Shallows and the T-62s are moving up. Oh my god, this could be the massacre we were not expecting. TOWs continue to fire from this angle, however, and there's a Jaguar tank destroyer in the distance throwing out some ITOWs. It won't matter too much because currently Eugen has 400 to 600 points they need for winning this game. TOW is finally moving up, thank goodness, not going to lose that. TOW will successfully defend using those great skirmisher helicopters. There is a Tunguska, however, in effect now, and it's able to clean up one of the TOWs, linked TOWs, and there's only 2 PTR Conquerors left on this push. Artillery is being fired in this location. There is napalm spread all over this area, and these Conquerors should not survive very long, as that's probably the final push of the game. Kind of a brutal start, losing one player early on, very, very bad, and just never were able to recover, winning lots of great battles, but never gaining territory. And as you can see, the map is painted blue. Eugen has just absolutely dominated this map. They're now very, very close to victory. Not much left that can be done from our Ciemni. I forgot their name already. I'm a bad person. By the pack team. Yeah, I'll feel stupid after I remember their name. And yeah, I mean, there is a flag here for an attack on this PC here, this M201 PC command Jeep. However, nothing can really hit it. There is a jet fighter moving, and look at this great move here by Mr. Smells a million miles away, because he hacked this tag, obviously. And is it actually? That's not enough. He hasn't moved it enough. Oh god, this is an embarrassing moment. That was really embarrassing. Okay, he just lost a command jeep there. That's crazy. Now we're back to +1 because also this vehicle is misplaced for some reason in one of these weird bug things. Or is there another command vehicle? There's a command tank here. Actually, just barely on the border here. And Bomber does get 1 unit there, not too big. Lots of the AA, and oh my god, I was wrong. That looked way cooler than it actually did damage, though. And US Marines in a great flanking position here, actually able to do a little bit of damage. Metal Shokies, however, in dominant numbers here, should be able to clean it up. There is a Bukme firing on a jet fighter. Nighthawk could be down. Down. Nighthawk down. And yeah, we have some artillery fire going to get fired on. This is a really weird place to have your mortars, but you know, c'est la vie. And now we have a +1 for the pact. This is really awkward. Like, Eugen was just winning by +5, and now suddenly it's a +1. Oh, it just switched back over. Never mind. The awkwardness has ended, has subsided. Super Attendard is going to do some anti-tank fire here, but it's getting fired on by Tunguska. It's going to die. And down. In fact, the Wild Weasel, which is, I believe it's some sort of air superiority fighter, if not, will try and do a little bit of damage as well to some of these tanks. And this area mostly cleaned out, as my BlackBerry indicates that I, in fact, have a Facebook post, which I'll check out later. Overwhelmingly great game for Eugen Systems Dream Team. They move on to the next round. There is, of course, a losers bracket, so they will not be seeing the end of this pack team. They will, in fact, live to see another day. They will be able to practice. Practice makes perfect, and get a style that's more coherent with Conquest. Because I think they're not bad. I think they're quite good. I think they've traded pretty well in most instances, but I don't think their playstyle has really translated to this Conquest style, in which it's all about map dominance and positions, and you're investing in command armors and command vehicles, and because there's no reason for there not to be a command vehicle here. Absolutely no reason at all. In fact, here comes one, kind of last minute. It should have been there a while ago. Truth be told. So they'll have some things worked out, but that's fine, because they'll have plenty of time. There will be round 2 starting next week sometime. We're still in round 1. Like, we're still matches to be played and whatnot. And yeah, so let's see. So we have 2,800 kills versus 4,400 for our other team. So yeah, it's pretty cut and clear. Eugen did suffer basically twice the number of losses, but they won on position. So, like I said, very good players. They're doing very well. Just didn't work for Conquest. So, whatever. If you guys enjoyed this match, want to see more from the Eugen Dream Team, make sure to subscribe to this channel. I'll be doing the Clash of Clans 2 tournament until the finals, and yeah, check in every day. See you guys for the next match.